Merlin the Magician. What was not hidden? In Machias, Hélga and Packard began a detailed discussion with local authorities to expand the range and extent of the distribution of centaurs, nagas and harpies, and that these communication routes should be away from the presence of humans and major urban, commercial and even tourist centers, and, unlike Hancock, Washington is not their main place of life. In Hancock, people and centaurs and other creatures have become accustomed to each other's presence and still do. However, most of these creatures prefer forests and mountains and away from humans. The second issue is their protection from humans, and that hunting any type of animal by them is free and not prohibited by law, even in protected areas. And finally, that it will help attract tourists and more income to this county and its people. Hélga and Packard also presented them with a map and routes that would seamlessly connect the two counties in both forest and mountain areas, with the approval of the relevant authorities. The plans were immediately implemented and carried out as far as possible until Christmas, with the return of the sheriff and mayor, and the next day. The implementation began from Hancock County and the city of Storyburg. The logs that were cut were used both for government purposes and for sale to individuals and lumber mills. Several roads and communication routes were built in the closest points by road construction machines from the two counties, and when they reached each other, the first stage was completed. The completion work and opening of the passage and road in the mountainous areas were postponed until after the New Year holidays. With the increase in communication, especially in public places and very close and constant contact, an unwritten law was gradually implemented regarding the covering of the animal part of the centaurs. In restaurants, stores and private shops, they had to wear a cover that left only the tail exposed and free, appropriate to the job. Even Matilda applied it to the employment of waiters and cooks. This law was not passed by the government or the police, but by themselves. The behavior of some humans, and less so by their own kind, and inappropriate touching and dirty jokes, had caused it. Hélga nodded at the restaurant and saw these centaur waitress and cook clothes, and when Matilda arrived, she said, "It's much prettier and better. You used it yourself." Even though everyone is used to and respects your being naked. After all, this is you and your nature. Matilda said, "Yes, but it's not bad. It's beautiful. Comfortable and light with these beautiful embroidery and preventing unwanted movements, it doesn't fit together. Unlike other creatures, we don't have much control." "What do you do on vacation?" "I don't know. I didn't start a family because of both being a sheriff and my previous job. I liked this independence. But it does bother me sometimes. Being the chief of police doesn't allow for long vacations." "You didn't think of quitting this job? Or starting a new one after retirement?" Hélga took a sip of her drink. "Well, why lie? Sometimes I wanted to, but my old job required strength and power that I don't have now, and I can't think of anything else. Something different that doesn't involve protection or fighting. Shooting club, gun shop, tourist services using centaurs. They trust you and work with you." He nodded thoughtfully and said, "Good idea. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll sell sports equipment." "Very well. I'll go get the customers. Don't you want anything else?" "Not for now, thank you." When Matilda left, he started eating his food. What was not hidden? Merlin concentrated and worked as much as he could on his herbal medicines and perfumes. And he had still limited his magic and sorcery and selling his paraphernalia to the centaurs. But the arrival of the nagas and even the harpies, those who were like birds of prey and bats and even humanoids, had attracted the attention of ordinary people. Some of them knew the magic potions and substances and had read about them in books or had been performed by some young centaur boys and girls who had human friends. This knowledge and coming had caused this. Merlin did not know how to react. He would remind them of the law prohibiting the sale and performance until the age of 20 and send them away empty-handed. This magic and magical works were certainly not limited to Story Burke, Hancock, and even the Isle of Maine. Although he had noticed that men and women were no longer being tried and burned for witchcraft. With the arrival of police cars and human and non-human people and the sheriff himself, this matter became more serious and he sighed. Helga said while looking at the bottles, materials, and some books and holding them in her hand, Mr. Walter Merlin. Apothecary but actually a seller of magic and magical materials. Are you related to that great and legendary wizard Merlin? I don't see a license on the wall either. My centaur colleagues confirmed that these are genuine and that you can really do magic and sorcery with them, and she continued to one of the centaurs. That's right, Sandra, you can do it. Yes. Sheriff. Helga continued to Merlin. So, what explanation do you have for this, Mr. Merlin?